Calgary court has handed down a ruling in a precedent-setting case on gay adoptions. The court ruled that two lesbian women should be allowed to adopt the children of their partners. The justice ruled the women's partners are amply qualified to become the legal parents and that the adoptions are in the best interest of the children. And here in Edmonton, gay groups are celebrating today's decision. They say the courts have acknowledged that a family can take many forms.
The courts aren't going to allow the government to drag their heels any longer, and it's going to become increasingly expensive for them to resist changes to the law that are necessary.
The court also awarded costs to the two women involved in the case, saying that they shouldn't have to pay for lawyers because the government disputed the adoption for more than a year. Police have arrested three teenage boys after a month-long investigation into the torture of a 16-year-old boy. Investigators say the young victim was lured into a field from a house party at 123rd Avenue and 129th Street. The boy was bound, gagged, burned, and cut with a knife. He is now recovered from his injuries. Three 16-year-old suspects have now been arrested. Charges include aggravated assault and uttering threats. A rookie police officer suffered two broken hands during a scuffle overnight. He was trying to arrest a suspected drunk man at the Corona LRT station. A fight ensued, and police say the 250-pound suspect tried to push the constable into the path of an LRT train. He was finally subdued when more police arrived. Trevor Brian Starr has been charged with several offenses. The officer had just graduated from the police academy this month. An Alberta doctor charged with murder will have to wait to find out if he'll be freed on bail. Dr. Abraham Cooper pleaded his case before the Alberta Court of Appeal today. Cooper was charged in May with first-degree murder in the disappearance of colleague Dr. Doug Snyder. The Fairview physician disappeared in the spring. Even after a massive search of the northern Alberta area, his body has never been found. Today, the Court of Appeal reserved its decision on the bail request. No other details were released. Cooper is expected to go to trial next year. A short search for a suspect today as police investigated a truck fire in northeast Edmonton. Early today, firefighters noticed someone suspicious was watching them extinguish the blaze. He was arrested while watching the truck burn. This all happened in an alley this morning behind 116th Avenue and 93rd Street. 20-year-old Sean Michael Church has been charged with arson in connection to the fire. And tonight, police are looking for witnesses to an accident where a pedestrian was critically injured today. The man was crossing White Avenue at 108th Street shortly after 11 this morning. He sustained life-threatening head injuries in the collision. A 27-year-old woman was driving the laser that struck the victim. Police are also looking for the driver of a second car that had stopped to let the man cross the street. If you have any information that can help police with this accident, give them a call at 423-4567. A major court victory for 17 pilots who want to fly in and out of the Jasper airstrip. Parks Canada had been battling to close the grass landing strip, saying planes flying in and out threaten the natural environment and frighten animals. A federal ruling finally did force its closure, but one pilot was later arrested for flying in anyway. His fellow flyman challenged the verdict, and now it has been overturned by a provincial judge. Claiming victory, the pilots are now going to court, trying to recoup their legal costs. A minor earthquake has rattled a community east of Toronto. The quake measured 3.9. Its epicenter was 11 kilometers south of Oshawa under Lake Ontario. The rumbling could have been felt for a couple of seconds within a radius of about 100 kilometers. Tonight, residents are saying the quake was very loud but did not really have enough impact to shake anything off the shelves. No injuries were reported. And residents of two Ontario communities are reeling tonight after accidents claimed the lives of 6 people. 2 young brothers have been killed in a town near Hamilton. The 7- and 11-year-old kids died when the car their mother was driving collided with another on a secondary highway. Grief counselors have been brought in to help students at their school. The victim's mother and the other driver were also hurt. Police say alcohol may have been a factor. And 4 people died when a 5-ton truck smashed into 2 vehicles in Toronto. Police say the big rig ran a stop sign before running into the cars. The driver is being questioned and charges are pending. Police have more clues into the whereabouts of a missing Edmonton area man. Trevor Coleman was a student at UBC when he disappeared last month. A woman has come forward saying she saw a man matching Coleman's description walk into the ocean. Coleman's backpack was later pulled from the water. And in world news tonight, at least 3 people are dead after a small plane crash in New Jersey today. The plane crashed into a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant and then broke apart as it continued down the block. Witnesses say the single-engine craft left a fiery trail of debris on the street. We'll have a full report a little later in this newscast. A long police chase on a California highway ends in a dramatic but deadly shooting in San Diego. The man in the white car led police on a chase through 5 counties for 3 hours, reaching speeds up to 150 kilometers an hour. The chase ended when police used a spike belt to blow out his tires. A TV reporter in a chopper describes what happens next.
Okay, as you can see, Kent, they're going to order him out. Now, whether they're using their PA or shouting commands to him, we have a CHP fixed-wing aircraft, another San Diego officer, or aircraft overhead, and they're just going to be watching. Okay, looks like he wants to give up. He's got his hands visible. They're going to have him get down to his knees.
As you can see, the gunman and police opened fire. The gunman died in hospital a short time later. Capital Ecuador is blanketed in ash from a nearby volcano that's threatening to erupt. The volcano is just 7.5 miles outside the capital and has been rumbling since September. This recent activity prompted officials to issue an alert. The volcano last erupted more than 340 years ago. Now it's time to find out what's going on in sports tonight. What do you got for us?
Well, Oilers played in Detroit tonight. Yep. First game of a quick little 2-game road trip in Toronto tomorrow night. But boy, you know, tough to win in Detroit.
Motor City, yeah.
10 years, 2 wins.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's about 14, 15 games. They don't get there all that much. But what a milestone right here. Steve Yzerman, that's goal number 600. So select company, only 11 guys have done it, so that's something. Roman Hamrlik got the Oilers back in the game 3-1 in the third period, and looked like they might have a little momentum, but 30 seconds later, bad defensive coverage here. Martin Lapointe scores 4-2, ends up to be the final. So we got a big show coming up. We'll have NHL highlights, some university stuff. Man, crazy.
You gonna ride any more monster trucks?
No,
that's done, eh?
Yeah, that was enough.
You were having fun, weren't you?
Well, those are some big trucks, boy.
I love it. All right.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, great.
You know, the king might be gone, but his estate is getting into the Christmas spirit. Graceland turns on the holiday spirit. That's coming up next on ITV News at 11.
I'm Bob Layton. Stand up and be counted on ITV News at 11.
You're watching Edmonton's News, ITV News.
About the desire to be thin. She suffered from bulimia as a teenager and easily identifies with women on TV.
I think everybody wants to change their self-image. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, you're always going to want to be that.
He was asked to give a prayer to open the new session of the legislature, and not politically correct. He started by calling on legislators to repent and recover their values. He said in part, we have endorsed perversion and call it alternative lifestyle. We exploit the poor and call it lottery. We reward laziness and call it welfare. We kill unborn children and call it choice. We bomb abortuaries and call it justifiable. We fail to discipline children and call it self-esteem. We abuse power and call it political savvy. We accept profanity and pornography and call it freedom of expression. We ridicule values and call it enlightenment. He called on God to bless the legislators with the wisdom they need to govern with fairness and decency and honor. And you know what? A half a dozen elected officials walked out during the prayer. They said he went too far. But I called Pastor Wright's secretary, and she tells me more than 10,000 people have requested copies of that prayer. You know, it's a shame more people don't have the courage to stand up and be counted. I'm Bob Layton.
Public notice. The Brick is now open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For the most exciting holiday of the century, Peoples has a beautiful selection of diamonds. Like this stunning 3-carat diamond channel bracelet, exquisite 1-carat diamond earrings, and the brilliant diamond holiday ring. Your choice, just $9.99 each. Add a little extra sparkle to the holiday this year with diamonds from Peoples, the Millennium Diamond Store.
Imagine being stuck in a snowstorm. Emergency road service. There are so many ways to use AMA.
Hey, look at those! Wow! What are they? F-150 Millennium Editions. Wow! What's a millennium?
The time it'd take to explain it to you.
Oh.
Look at those babies. Special badging, box liners, bug deflectors.
And check out the creature comforts.
Should we?
Why not? It's got four-wheel drive.
Lease a Millennium F-150 for $375 a month, or for just $44 more, get the V8 4x4. Only at your Alberta Ford dealer.
Little stuffy in here.
Good thing it's got air.
Might want to hit the high beams, too.
Every day, 150,000 Canadians find relief with affordable, effective chiropractic treatments. So can you.
Linda Steele's wardrobe provided by Blues Women's Wear, home of the 6-month interest-free wardrobe plan. Our city, our news. iTV News at 11. With Linda Steele, Gord Steinke, Peter Jura on Night Watch, and meteorologist Claire Martin.
Well, a tragic scene today in Newark, New Jersey. 3 people are dead after a small plane crashed in a densely populated neighborhood earlier today. Pat Battle has more from the scene.
From Linden Airport en route to Dulles International in Virginia, air traffic controllers lost radio contact with the pilot of the Beach Bonanza 3-5. Just over 5 minutes later, the 1964 single-engine aircraft came out of the clouds and slammed into the roof of this abandoned factory off Springfield Avenue in Newark, setting it afire. Then it hurtled through the air, breaking into pieces as it went, before finally striking the corner of this Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, where, to the horror of onlookers, the 3 people inside were ejected from the plane.
Oh, it's bad. Bodies everywhere, like it was feet over there and stuff. Oh.
And we heard it, like, the whole building, like, rumble, like it was an earthquake or something. We thought it was a baller, blew up. So we walked down there to see it was, like, electrical wires, bodies, and stuff laying on over there.
Blowing up everywhere.
Blowing up?
Yeah.
It was a gruesome scene with pieces of the plane and parts of bodies scattered across a 2 to 3 block area. As the plane fell apart, pieces of the aircraft flew through the air like missiles, ricocheting off buildings and cars, injuring several people on the ground, including the brother of a Newark police officer who was inside his car when the top was literally sheared off.
Well, it appears the spirit of the King of Rock and Roll is very much alive as Graceland Mansion prepares for the Yuletide season. Tonight, the annual lighting of Elvis Presley's former mansion took place in Memphis, Tennessee. The lights at Graceland are the largest Christmas attraction in the city. Hundreds of lights trim the trees, while a miniature Elvis dances on the treetop. Elvis's famous logo, which includes a lightning bolt and the initials TCB, also adorn the top of the trees. The King was always known to take care of business at Christmas, and it appears his daughter, Lisa Marie, has continued the tradition. There you go. You really know Christmas is just around the corner when Graceland lights up the old tree.
It's some kind of tree.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh, they need some snow down there.
Yeah, they get snow, don't they?
Well, they get a little bit of snow down in Tennessee, but nothing like we do here,
no,
of course.
for sure,
To them,
yeah.
it's like Vancouver. Everybody freaks out. Nobody knows how to drive and everything.
Yeah, well, we can't complain here either. I mean, not a lot of snow. I know some people are complaining they want to see the snow, but...
Yeah, but you know what? There's snow in the ski areas. That's the main thing. Sunshine Lake Louise have tons of snow. Marmot has tons of snow, but they don't open yet till December 3rd. So
right.
I think they're happy.
Well, I'm not complaining. Let's just keep this going.
Okay. Thanks, Gordon. Here's your weather watch for this evening. Minus 10 degrees tonight. Now, it could get a little cooler than that in the outlying areas, probably around minus 13 in the countryside. There is still a slight chance that we could get the odd flurry or two this evening. And then tomorrow, a nice recovery as we continue with a nice westerly flow. Minus 6 degrees, the forecast high for tomorrow. Actually, minus 6 in the morning. It'll get even warmer that to about minus 2. But as you look at our map today, we had a couple of areas of low pressure that I'll show you on the satellite map in just a moment. First of all, up in high level where they had about 23 centimeters of snow on the ground before it started snowing today. Probably got another 6 or 7. Minus 9 is what they got up to. Minus 5 for Fort McMurray, in the same scenario for Fort Mac, except the disturbance is moving in that direction, so there is the potential for some more snow in the Fort Mac region and Wood Buffalo for tomorrow before the system moves off to the north and into Saskatchewan. Minus 3, Grand Prairie picked up some snow today too. Minus 4 for Jasper. In fact, the cold spot in the country today, no, I think it was just the province, it wasn't that cold, was Willow Creek, which is just to the north of Jasper of about 80 kilometers, and it got down to minus 22 there. It's quite a difference there. Minus 6 for Red Deer under a few clouds, for Calgary at minus 2, also for Lethbridge, another area of low pressure brought the snow there, and minus 1 for Medicine Hat. We'll look at the satellite map now, and we'll show you these areas. First of all, one of them down here in Montana, pushing off towards the Saskatchewan border. So at this point, not a lot of snow left in that region. And to the north, you can see it very graphically here, moving around counterclockwise. And that is why the north, and especially the northeast, will continue to get some snow over the next little while. All right, let's take a look at our forecast for the next few days. A nice westerly flow. We've got an area of low pressure off the coast that is responsible for pushing warm air into our region. So -2 degrees for tomorrow under a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Much the same as expected for Sunday. By Monday, now we're able to mix some of that warm air down to the surface where we are, and that's why the temperature is expected to get up to about